Welcome to McDonald's Coaches Bench here on Mix 1041. Thanks to Dale Halfacre, everybody at CHS Live for furnishing a beautiful studio where Coach Marty Wheeler and I do this McDonald's Coaches Bench each week just before kickoff on Mix 1041. And thanks to Mark Smith and everybody at the area McDonald's restaurants bringing you this program. Coach Wheeler, from the press box last week was so great. I mean, I hope you had as much fun on the field as we had in the press box. One of the sweetest wins to me that we've had in a few weeks, months, whatever you want to call it, but domination. 34-3 domination.
It was a lot of fun. I think it was fun for everyone. I think it's of course another great environment in a a rivalry game in this area. That's the thing about it, whether I think that the rivalry games here are toxic or not, for whatever reasons, is not. What you can't deny is this: the environment and the atmosphere when the ball is kicked off is special, and it's what you play for. It's why you coach football, and it was another one that didn't disappoint other night at Walker Valley. It was, and you had. Really, the way their stadium's set up with the end zone closed in it, on the one end, I guess that would be the south end. Mm-hmm. The band in that area there, it's really it's pretty neat, but it's not always great if you're trying to call plays in that area. But like it gives you a really an environment and atmosphere there of what I'm sure it's set up for there, which is to make it difficult on the visiting team. But really cool experience, I think. I mean, that's something I never got to experience when I played. Our band, of course, is always loud as well. And so I talked about it at halftime, just how loud it was on the field with the crowd and the bands both playing. And very challenging, I think, from a coach's standpoint, to try to get communication to your guys on the field while they're on it. Verbally, you pretty much couldn't get it done. And so, fortunately for us, our guys, we got off to a great start. We couldn't ask for a better start. Running up the kickoff back, Rodney Broadnax fielded the ball cleanly, and he saw a seam right there in the return, and he hit it. He didn't hesitate, didn't try to bounce it outside. He just saw the seam and he took off. And once he did, it was a big play for us. Started the game off the way we would always like to start it off. But it put us up 7-0 very quick, and we had a lot of momentum there, and we continued that momentum through the entire first half.
Absolutely. The age-old question I ask practically every week, name somebody that should be recognized for their play. I think everybody was recognized for their play. Offensive line, receivers, everybody, D-line, linebacker, secondary covered their people last week. To me, total team effort.
It was. I think I said it after the game. Definitely our best performance in all three phases of the game in one particular game by far this year. But I do want to say that we had some guys that had to come out of the game for injuries and other things, and so I want to point out Braden Duggan. I thought did an outstanding job when he came in as a defensive end. Zoe came in, at D tackle. He's not a very big guy. Has a motor, but we had some guys that had to step up there on the D line in the second half. Thought they did a really nice job there, and we kept them out of the end zone in the second half. And so, biggest thing was it was a team effort. But the thing that stood out to me was, I thought the back end of our defense played much better, extremely well, and much improved from the week before. We broke up several passes, and we eliminated big plays. And so
absolutely.
And on offense, we were able to create some big plays. So that's really the recipe for success. Success, Terry, is for us to be able to put points on the board. Another thing would be the 95-yard drive that we had. We talked all week offensively about being able to finish. It was really, as a coach, I really was happy to see our guys go 95 yards and get points in the second half. And and then, like I said, to eliminate big plays for them, and then we had big plays in all three phases. So our execution was much better for our game plan, and our guys played with a lot more energy and passion. And you know, right now we're still at 6 games in. You know, we're trying to create every opportunity that we can for our guys to play with energy and passion. I'm still not completely sure on why we have to try to be creative on getting energy and passion out of teenagers, but that is where we are in what we do now. So it's a lot of things go into it people never see, and that it blows my mind most of the time. So, but anyway, really proud of our coaches and our players. I thought everybody that was involved did a great job Friday night.
Absolutely. We'll take our first break on McDonald's Coaches Bench here on Mix 104.1. We'll be back in just a moment. Coach Wheeler, last segment at the end, you mentioned the assistant coaches. I thought the game plan, everything was great last week. We haven't talked about your assistants this year. Let's take just a few moments and talk about those guys.
Oh, well, I mean, they're a special group of people. First and foremost, because I mean they have to deal with me on a daily basis, and I don't think that they always.
Fun.
Yeah, it may be fun for some, and I think it's fun for different ones, different times, you know. But I mean, seriously though, they're the biggest thing I would say about this group is I do believe that they have a genuine care for kids, right? And
yes.
they want not just you know, how well they perform on the field, but how well they conduct themselves in anything they do. And so that's what we really stress. We want our guys to understand the importance of you know, executing what we want them to do, but not just on a football field, but wherever they are. And you know, sometimes that's not always easy. We were all kids at one time. We're all young people, and when I was young, a young person, which was a long time ago, there's no doubt I made my share of mistakes, and I was fortunate enough that there was coaches in my life through high school and college that was able to guide me in the right direction and help me to understand that it wasn't just about how well you played and performed on the field, but how you carried yourself as an individual. And I will always be in debt to those guys, you know. And one of the biggest reasons I got into coaching was from the guys that influenced me growing up. So those guys play a huge role for us because they're trying to do everything in their power to help guide these guys, you know, down the right path, especially if they need help. You know, we want our players to feel like they can come and talk to us about anything they want to talk about, and they do. Sometimes it's not always serious when they come and talk to us. Sometimes it's about things that I didn't even know exist or happened. You know, I'm always the last one to find out about the technology stuff and what kids are into now, and it'll blow your mind. Somebody like you, Terry, who maybe don't, you know, you see them, but
Coach,
you don't live with them.
I'm a lot older than you. I remember before they paved the roads. So anyway.
Well, I mean, I didn't say that, you did, but I mean, at the end of the day, you know, all of our guys on the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, they've built relationships with our players, and especially, you know, we want every coach on our staff, position-wise, whatever position you're coaching, you're the head coach of that position, and so. I'm really pleased with what I see out of our guys as far as trying to do everything in their power to get our guys ready to play.
Something came to mind while you were talking about your assistant coaches and the people that's influenced you. Fans, myself included, keep up with wins, losses, scores, et cetera, who made the all-state team and so forth, and that's fine. But in thinking about it, sometimes a coach does his best coaching when he guides a young person, and later in life, that young person remembers what they were taught and acts accordingly to how they were taught. That might be the best scenario for a coach in the long run.
I mean, I think it's what I enjoy the most about coaching, especially, you know, I wouldn't say it's always been that way. My priorities probably have, I wouldn't say they've changed, but I would say that like maybe I acknowledge and pay more attention to certain things I didn't when I was a younger coach, because I was probably consumed with nothing but results. And you know, it's still important. It's huge. But, you know, the biggest thing is I think with young people as a coach, you want to get them to understand that constructive criticism is never easy for anyone to take. I mean, I watch adults; they struggle with it daily as well. So do I. My wife struggles with it. Especially if I'm the one trying to, do the constructive criticizing, it never goes over well. I'm never right on that deal. So it's not something that changes once you get older. People don't really deal with constructive criticism very well, and what we want our guys to understand is, and I would say this to anybody in a workplace or anything, it's not personal, right? Like it's just necessary. And, I think our guys, and how you do that is by building relationships with them, and how you get them to understand that more and be clear about it is that you do show them. You don't just tell them, but you do things to show them that you care about them as not only a player, but as a person. And so I think the longer that in this profession, and that would be, if I was going to tell anybody that was getting into coaching, that would be one thing I would really focus on, as I went down that road, is that you got to find a way to get those guys, to understand that, it's not just about what goes on in the football field, and it's not just about you criticizing them when they make a mistake. It's also about acknowledging when they do it the correct way. And so it's a full-time job. It's not like it was when I played, where the coach tells you to do something, you do it. You don't really ask any questions, right? Yeah. You just do it. So those days are over, and you have to constantly be creative in the way that you try to motivate players. And the big thing is for them to understand, and I think this is just reality. I don't think it means as much to younger folks as it did back in the day, because there's a lot more things to get your attention that distract you than it did when I played, or you were coming up. We didn't have all these things that can get your attention away or cause you to lose focus on what it needs to be. Your attention needs to be focused on, and so it's very, very stressful as a coach to deal with that. And but it's so rewarding to see them happy, and to see like Friday night after the game, to watch our fans, watch our student body, to watch our players and our coaches, just the enjoyment, the happiness of playing a game that way, and that reward there is far much better than the disappointment.
Absolutely, well put, Coach. I agree with on all the points that you made. I'm not going to get into constructive criticism of spouses, because I've lost that battle many times. So I'm with you.
I don't recommend that either. I'm learning about that. I'm learning to be the one that takes the criticism, and right. I've got to learn to be the one that gets the criticism and takes it instead of trying to give it.
Hey, the always entertaining Marty Wheeler. You see why for the last 4 years I've enjoyed every minute with this guy, on the air, off the air, and whatever. He keeps me laughing, and just a pleasure to be around. Last break for Coach's Bench, brought to you by McDonald's, in just a moment. Coach Wheeler, Maryville comes to town tonight. A new sideline for the Blue Raiders, a little bit different scenery.
Well, I mean, it's a change, and we're anxious to see what that looks like. I know that I'm sure out there, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that there's probably some folks that aren't happy about it, and some that probably are tickled to death with it. I'm not sure who that might be or may not be, and not really, and I can't be. It's a decision that was made above my pay grade, and I'm sure I'm the one getting blamed for it. All right, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think there's a lot of positives to it.
Yes.
And we're not sure, what the negatives are going to be, or the challenges are going to be. I'm sure there are going to be some challenges with it, just like there's challenges with the side we've been on, and Cleveland's been on for years and years. And one of the bigger ones is, being able to see what's going on before all the way to almost halftime, especially in the first couple games. But I think that will be a positive. We'll enjoy the fact that we don't have to battle the sun. There seems to be more room over there for you know, all the folks that it takes to put on a football game. And it'll be different, Terry. Anytime there's something different, there's a change made, there's always going to have to be an adjustment period. So we'll see how it goes. But we're just, I'll be honest with you, when the ball gets kicked off, I mean, the only thing I'll be paying attention to is what's going on in the game. And so that'll be for somebody else to discuss and figure out. I'm just a football coach. I'm not here to be a facility decision maker.
Absolutely. Quick comment about the Rebels.
I mean, Maryville's exactly what they typically, you know, have always been. They're a very well organized, very well-oiled machine that you know, I would say this year very well coached. You know, a lot of tradition there in that program. I would say probably this year it does seem to me that they are committed to running the football maybe more than throwing it. And also I'd say though that, you know, I don't know how much you can read into that because they haven't had to throw the football a lot. You know, they're very good at running the football. They're very physical, very disciplined, and very good at taking care of the football. And so we've got to do a great job of not allowing them just to move the ball up and down the field at will. And another thing, one thing that'll help that, you know, we've got some guys that are banged up. It's not an excuse. That's part of the game of football. You know, everybody deals with injuries. The timing of them are never good and never when you want them to be. You know, the big thing is we do have an open week coming up after this game, so hopefully we can get a couple guys back. Excuse me, that we need for the last few region games, which will be huge. Excuse me, but at the end of the day, part of the thing that we need to be able to do is move the football on offense.
Yes,
you know, and if we can move the chains and keep them on the sidelines as well, then that's going to do nothing but improve our opportunity and chances to play well and have a chance to win the game.
Here's looking forward to a Raider victory tonight on Mix 104.1, 7 o'clock for the kickoff. For Coach Marty Wheeler, Terry Evans saying, see you next time.